So you want to ride in the winter, but you don't want to freeze. Let's talk about how to make that happen. Welcome back to Remy Moto, folks. Today we are talking about something near and dear to my poor heart because I don't have a car, so I'm always riding my motorcycle regardless of the temperature, because you got to go to work, you got to run errands, like you got to get groceries. It's a thing. I don't like delivery personally. I think that it's useful for certain things, but other things not. So how do you make it work in the winter? Because even here in South Texas, we've had below freezing temperatures for a fair bit now. And today, while it's warmer, I went out wearing this hoodie and a helmet and gloves. I was wearing pants, chill. How do you make this comfortable? And I think there's a couple things you can look at. None of this involves heated gear. None of this involves any crazy expensive equipment. This assumes that you are not planning to make a habit out of this and you don't want to spend a ton of money. Now, number one, handguards. I've talked about this in a prior video. I'm not going to harp on it. But the difference between having handguards on your bike and not having handguards, massive. If your hands are out in the wind, they're going to get cold quick, almost regardless of what you have for gloves. You better be wearing some serious snowmobiling gloves. And even then, there's a reason most snowmobiles have handguards. Number two, we're sticking with hands here, a good pair of winter gloves. Not winter regular gloves, winter riding gloves. You want something that fits properly, has good insulation, windproof, waterproof, appropriate for the job. Now, depending on your arm position on the bike, you're either going to want a gauntlet style or inside your sleeve style. I use inside my sleeve because my hands are below my torso, below my shoulders. If you ride a Harley and your hands are up here, or some other touring bike where your hands are higher, you may want gauntlet. Basically, whichever way the rain is going to flow, the cold air and liquid is going to flow on your arms, make sure it's not flowing into your gloves. Make sure it's flowing over, out of, whatever the term you want to use is. In my case, that means my sleeves go over my gloves when it's going to be wet out. If it's dry out, I don't care. What else can you do? Layer. Don't just put on a shirt and a heavy jacket, or a shirt, a hoodie, and a jacket. Layer up. Wear a base layer. Then wear a regular shirt, something suitable for the conditions. Cotton's not great. Really, it isn't. But if you have to, sure. But your base layer should be a modern fiber. Or wool. Wool works for a base layer if you treat it accordingly. And then another layer. Now, this could be a lightweight hoodie. This could be a midweight hoodie. It should be something that's a little slippery. Now, a hoodie like this that's pretty form-fitting is okay. But my one that's more of a poly material actually works better because it slips in the jacket better. I don't bind up. I don't get as much friction in the jacket. Because then you're going to put on your winter riding jacket, right? Your fall winter riding jacket. It probably has a liner. It's probably windproof. It's not going to be the most soft and supple and comfy jacket you own, right? The other key here is actually have a good windproof winter jacket. My Scorpion Exo Optima is not high-end, $200 jacket, but with the liner in, works really well. I got to be honest, it really, short of really bad conditions, it holds up well. It gets wet, it gets dry, it gets wind, it gets sun. It's a good general purpose jacket. Now, there are plenty of other options out there. Certainly, any of the premium touring adventure style jackets that really are quality material, go for it. Whether you have a multi-layer, a laminate, I don't care. Just keep in mind, if you are getting wet and cold, everything's multiplied in terms of temperature. You're going to get much colder much faster. So, okay, you've got your jacket on, you've got your base layers and everything else underneath, you've got your gloves, you've got handguards. What about your legs? Well, legs are tricky. My suggestion is thermal underwear, a good base layer leggings. Like not yoga leggings, guys. That's not what we're talking about. These are actually a base layer legging. The kind of thing you would wear skiing, snowmobiling, if you were going to be working out in the cold, okay? Something like that, under good riding jeans. Not lightweight riding jeans. Think like my REV'IT ones where it's a heavy piece of material. Or lined riding jeans where, okay, you got a regular riding jean and then you've got a Kevlar layer underneath. The more coverage you have, the more area stays warm. It's that simple. Just keep in mind your lower legs are usually not particularly protected. And on a lot of bikes, those are going to be what get cold. It just is what it is. On the other hand, for most of us guys, that's not that cold. Our legs are the least of our concerns, right? If our torso stays warm, if our hands are warm, if our face is warm, so our legs are cold, we don't care. If your calves are good, you're good. If your thighs are good, you're good. If your calves get cold, we don't worry about it too much. Right down to boots, windproof, waterproof, something relatively warm. It's gonna be really cold before my feet get cold when I'm out riding, particularly if you have an air-cooled bike or anything else where your engine area gets hot. I wear the Dainese D-WP Street Rockers? Yeah, Street Rocker D-WPs. These are my colder weather boot. They are not super insulated, guys. There's some, but mostly they are a waterproof, windproof leather boot. And they really need a cleaning. I need to recruit an assistant for that. But these work great. They're very comfy, they're lightweight, they are a good boot in the winter. But if you're really in a cold environment, these are not appropriate. You need something better, something warmer. For me, this is South Texas. My idea of cold is just below freezing. That's about as cold as it really gets. If we get to the mid-20s, it's a crazy day. In the upper 30s through the 40s and up, I still wear my vented SMX boots. These are a low street riding boot, vented. I mean, you can see all the perforations. Guess what? It's still good enough. If we're not down approaching freezing on a 30-minute ride, 40-minute ride, perfectly fine. If you're doing 90 on a street bike, sport bike, it may be different. I'm averaging, anywhere from 50 to 75. It's a little different, right? But if you've got a big touring bike with a little bit of foot protection down there, maybe, you got a little skirt down there to keep you warm. Just saying, these are comfy. They're a year-round boot if you are riding in 40 plus. If you're going a lot of miles, you'll want something non-vented, right? That's just how it goes. These are my main boot. I probably have more miles on these. For as good as they look, I probably have, out of the 11,000 miles on my bike, 9,000. Now, what else can you do? Because all this has been semi-obvious. Well, the number one thing you can do is keep the wind off your neck and your face, and hopefully you're wearing a full face helmet, right? But air still gets up in there. Now, you can grow a giant bushy beard. That helps. Just saying, it really does. Chin curtain on your helmet, absolutely a positive. Make sure you've got a pin lock because otherwise you're gonna fog up real bad. Closed vents, a neck gaiter helps a lot. If it's really bad, pull that neck gaiter up so that it's actually up here over your nose. If you really, if it's bad, balaclava so that only this area is exposed, comes right up around your head. It seals in those gaps. Because a lot of times I get this little funnel right up from my neck of cold air, and it's going right over my lips, right under my nose. The balaclava is helping, but it's still there. And basically, it's just a shape. It's the shape of my body when you're sitting there like this. It's the shape of your clothes. It's just funneling a little jet right up, and it gets past the chin curtain and in there. All of that is not hard. Everything I described is either small tweaks to what you're already doing, or just going in your closet and finding the right stuff. Now, if you don't have those base layers, Walmart, Bass Pro, Target, these are not, you don't need high end. Decent stuff works. If you're gonna use it all the time, sure, buy quality stuff. Buy the Under Armour. Buy, I don't know other brands for it these days. I used to buy it at EMS. Just keep in mind, the price could be 3 times higher. Under Armour is like $50 a piece. The generic might be $10, $15. That is it. That is how I'm staying warm. I'll be honest, I almost never put the base layers on for my legs. And my upper body base layer very often is just like a compression shirt followed by a cotton shirt that I'm gonna wear at work. It is what it is. But if I know it's gonna be really cold, that's how I prepare. I plan accordingly. 40 is not bad. 50 is nice. It's 50 degrees, 52 or something, and I just rode to the grocery store and back with this as my top layer, no jacket. Was it warm? No, but it wasn't bad at all. Anyway, take care, have fun, ride safe, and I will see you later.